welcome back to another episode of the Sound Girl Pod. Due to public demand, due to much requested, due to much raised concerns. One day somebody commented on our YouTube channel. You guys never have a man on your episodes. Whether you should start Sound Boy Pod. I was like, But we were like, okay, season 2 we could try something new. Hence, why we have a guest, and not just any guest. This is a famous guy in this country. You might have seen him in one of the big TV stations evangelizing, winning souls to Christ. He's a great brother in the body of Christ, doing amazing things. By this time, if I'm speaking like this and you don't know this guy, you're lost. You need to be found. Guys, give it up for the one and only Precious Call.
Thank
give you the floor to introduce yourself.
Thank you.
Take your time. Take your time.
Thank you so much.
With or without the titles, you have the freedom.
Asante.
Yes.
It's a joy to be here. Thank you for having me. My name is Precious Call Hamasi. That actually is my real name. A number of people think it's a name I gave myself.
Me included. I used to
Precious
think that.
Call.
Oh, really?
Yeah. When I used to watch a number of those episodes, I was like, oh, it's called Precious.
No, it's my name. My parents tell me that one time. That's the joy of being a pastor's kid. You get to be given names that have a purpose. So my parents, I think they were dating at some point when Reinhard Bonke had come to Eldoret to a crusade. And so when they were praying for their first child, so they said they heard from God that it will be a son with a precious calling. So it became Precious Call.
Wow.
So my dad used to tell me that when I was born, he came to the theater just moments after I was born, and he had a small Gideon's Bible. And then he placed it in my tiny hands. It's the first thing I touched as a baby.
Wow.
I said, this is going to be it. And I can tell you, I've tried to run away. There's a time when we were in campus, I tried to go to a club here in CBD. Moi Avenue, yes. And they didn't allow me entry because of my name. The guy just said, you can't have this name and come to the club. We share home. My friends went in and I went back to school.
Hey, good job to your parents, man. What? You could have been a lost sheep.
I tried to.
In a club.
I've even been arrested by a police just here in Tao for traffic offense. He saw my ID and said, what kind of name is this? He had to tukipeleka kotini, we won't even have, just go.
Look at the way your name goes
I love
ahead
it.
of you.
Yeah, your name
so-
goes ahead of you.
Yes, I'm born again. I love the Lord. I am passionate about young people. And in recent times, I just realized I love children quite a lot. I've had great moments with children this week. We're having some DVBS moments.
Yeah.
And I am a preacher by calling, but I'm a civil engineer by training. Yes, and I'm married to one female wife.
You must say that
Must be clearly
Very
said.
clear. Her name is Karen. And I'm happy to be here.
Does she come from Karen?
No.
really,
Far from it.
I mean, you're looking at these names and their history.
Far from it. And she's not a typical Karen, the Karen. Yes, and I'm also a brother to two little sisters that I dearly love.
Okay.
Yes, that's just it about
Amazing. Karibu sana.
Asante.
So today, we're going to be talking about a very interesting topic that we have had, we have talked about previously, the both of us with Jewel. It was about firstborn daughters.
Yeah.
And we did, I think, 2 episodes, which got a lot of engagement on our socials and all that. And a few people were requesting, why can't you have firstborn boy? We want to hear your perspectives about a firstborn guy. And so we were like, you know what? You have asked for it.
Yeah.
And because we are your guys, because we are your people, always serving you premium content.
Yeah.
We said, why not?
Yeah.
Hence why we have Precious Call. He's a firstborn, as he said.
Yeah.
And we'd love to hear just your views, your perspectives, growing up as a firstborn. Okay. I feel like boys.
Yeah.
Firstborn guy.
That's just perfect.
Yeah. How
boys
it has
okay.
been for you. What are the things you have gone through?
Yeah.
What are the things that you have learned? Who has it made you to
Yeah.
be?
Yeah.
And we'd love to get to know you. So maybe you can share with us how has your experience been as a firstborn guy?
Interesting. The more you grow, as you think about it, you keep having different perspectives about it.
Yeah.
But I think growing up as a firstborn, I didn't think so much to it until my sisters came around.
Okay.
And I discovered I'm this very what do we call them? I'm too invested in their lives. I'm like a deputy parent.
Every firstborn is that.
Yeah.
So there has been my sister and I, we are 9 years apart. The one who comes after me.
Oh, okay.
So I really went through the life. I'm the one who went through all the beating. I'm the one who found my parents when they were in the bad days of life. So I keep seeing my sisters do some things and they are so excused for them, you know. But in our day and time, sufuria ilikuwa inakufuata kwenye huko. So you become like the yardstick of parenting. Parents are learning discipline skills on you.
That's
you know,
true.
so I
because you're the guinea pig.
Yes.
You're the experiment.
Yeah. Yes. So there's been a lot of just being, I don't want to call it the one who's experimented on, but in a way, the joy of also being the first child to your parents, it's been fulfilling. But I think the weight of it really has settled when my sisters came along, especially now when they became teenagers and they went to high school. And I was too curious to always hanging around them. They used to come to visit me and I wouldn't let them leave the house. Because I don't know who will talk to them. You know, and when they have to go to town, I want to drop them. So one time my sister told me, "Hey man, you're too insecure. Take it easy. You know, relax." So over the last 2 years, I've really been letting go, but I genuinely struggle. I several times I've gone to their academic, meetings in school.
Okay.
And it's refreshing, particularly also because our dad died a bit earlier. So I've usually you just feel the responsibility sort of coming on you. As the firstborn boy, and my mom doesn't really communicate it that I need you to be there. But I was home 2 weeks ago and we were having a conversation with my mom and she said that your sisters relate with you more than just a brother, and it kind of lays that weight on you. So I feel like
sort of like a father figure.
Yes, in their lives. And it's quite a narrow line because I want you also to know that I'm your friend, and don't just look at me as that guy who will call you out when you're making mistakes. But the flip side of that is being a firstborn son in the family of a pastor. People just assume you're going to take your father's church
That's
at
so
some point. So mtoto wa pastor, hizo ni shati gani umevaa? Mtoto wa pastor, hiyo ni course gani unafanya?
Same problems.
So, and I think it's worse when you're a guy. Everybody keeps looking at you. So when you say you're going to be an engineer, they don't understand how.
They want you to take theology.
Exactly. We want you to align. We want you to align. You are coming after his footsteps. And there's a lot of that kind of pressure that comes from also being a firstborn in the family of a pastor. And I think sometimes that pressure can really push you to a bad place. And that's why for me, I couldn't wait for the day when I leave my parents' house. Because now my freedom was coming. So when I was coming to campus, I actually brought myself. My parents didn't take me to campus. I came because I requested. And I wanted that privacy.
You feel like you're responsible.
Yeah, I did. I did, and I tried to go away. I wanted to have a normal life, like the way every boy out there. But then it just didn't work that way. When you're planted in the foundation. But then akamwambia, kesha tulikuwa tunaenda unalala hapo nyuma. So, but it's been a refreshing experience. Given a chance, I'd still choose to be a firstborn.
Okay. But do you think it's different with me being a lady and you being a gentleman now? Now for me, I'll take the mother figure in the family. That means I'm the one who reprimands, I'm the one who need money, I'm the one who sends, etc. So is it different from you? Like,
I sometimes I wonder what kind of parent I'll be. I'm on that journey, and I don't know how much of my experiences growing up will shape into that. But I usually think I'm so delicate with my sisters. I find it even difficult sometimes to call them out.
Oh, really?
Yes.
It's truly different. I don't feel anything.
But do you feel like it's because they're sisters? If they were brothers, you'd have been like, "Wait, nini, watcha."
Yes. Generally, I think I have a soft spot to the female gender. Particularly the younger ones.
I think it's because you've grown up with now younger sisters.
And then I don't know, there's something when you're just a firstborn and male, somehow how do I explain it? It's rough for you.
Okay.
It's rough for you in the sense that I don't have memories of my parents doing the things I see them do to my sisters when I was that age.
Oh, okay.
My mom is too invested in my sisters' lives. Hey, she keeps calling me, go and find out if they have food.
And she has not found out about you.
When I was in campus. Ati hai ni aje unaendelea aje? Tunatafutana kaa kuna shida.
Oh, okay.
Yaani ndume unapokuwa umeshajipanga.
So, and I think I also moved out of my parents' house at an early age.
Oh, okay.
I was in a day school when I was in high school, and the school was slightly far away from home. So one of my teachers gave me like a small room in high school. So I started living alone in Form 2.
Okay.
And I've never gone back to my parents' home. I always go as a visitor for a weekend, and then I'm out. So it helped me craft my independence kitambo, kidogo. Yeah, but it's refreshing.
Hey, okay. You're calling out. I think I'll come for tips. Because for me, and then you have sisters, so it's even worse.
Unaweka kwa line.
Lazima. So, of course, we had loggerheads at some point. But then I think for me, I think I've embraced it because it has made me realize that at the end of the day, that you have the responsibility over your shoulder is so heavy that God gives you grace for that specific responsibility. There's a way you even ask yourself, sometimes you can even call the entire house and tell them, by the dad, mom, Jonah, blah, blah, blah. This is what I think we need to do, because you are like the bridge between the two, your sisters or your siblings and your parents. And you can be able to stand and say, I'm thinking, if we don't do this investment plan, this will do. If they listen to us, But I think it's such a huge responsibility that sometimes you want to run away from, but you remember God gives you grace for that specific responsibility. Because now, for me, I got married also a firstborn, so you can imagine how it is. So now we're the ones who lead our family, so to say. Yeah. So it has to be his side, our side. So we balance them in relation to when it's his side, we now go and do whatever he needs to do. If it's our side, we do whatever he needs to do. So when he reprimands his sisters, I'm like, I know where you're coming from. Yeah, you know where you're coming from.
The flip of it also is that a lot of people imagine that firstborns are strong, naturally. So many times we don't have support systems.
That's true.
People will be drawn more to the needs of the other people. This one has been, this one is okay. So you'll find most of them don't have support or places to go. It's worse when you're male because they tell us that part of masculinity is mwanaume kujikaza. You don't ask for help.
You cannot be weak.
You see, you can't be weak. You see, and that's such a it's a dangerous truth to live on.
Yeah,
all of us have been created with need for community.
Yeah,
that's true.
You know, and we have to open ourselves up to that. Actually, I always say the strongest man is he who is open to being helped. And there's no harm in saying, hey guys, I need help. It's not weakness, it's a show of strength that you recognize you're limited. And that's actually a plus. So it's double for men, and of course we have a lot of toxic masculinity around us that tells you, oh, mwanaume usibeba umbrella unatingika kaduki.
Which is got such a thing.
Hey, let me tell you, there's a day I showed up to class with an umbrella. An umbrella that I was forced to take by we were dating that time. I was dating Karen. So mvua ilikuwa inanyesha, she told me take this umbrella. And then the worst part of it, coincidentally,
you met other guys.
No, I was wearing a brown suit, I remember, and the umbrella was brown. Let me tell you, I entered that class and all the gentlemen were like, "Ay, Buddha Z."
But it's that bad. It's just an umbrella. Anybody can use it.
Yeah, but how you'll be rained on.
Yeah, you don't do those feminine things.
Oh my! The other day I was with
Toxic.
a cousin of mine who is a firstborn. Is a guy, and we were at work actually. So I decided, let me buy sweets, lollipops for everybody. Some sugar helps. Nikampatia kanambia, what are you giving me? A lollipop.
We don't do
Mwanaume
that,
anakula lollipop. Surely umeiona wapi? And I'm like, it's just a sweet, like any other. But I realized the second one didn't have any issue. But I'm like, it's just a sweet. Like,
it's crazy. Afadhali nikate yako kakijiti suti thinking.
Oh my
You just can't see me doing this.
Problems.
So finally when he took it,
problems.
alitoa kakijiti akakaa nani. So I'm like, this is too much.
Thank God I'm a woman for sure.
You're living
So
in
when
too
there's
much
that
pressure.
and there's that you're being the firstborn and that's just it can mess you up.
Yeah,
it
for
can mess
sure.
you up. But there's need for firstborns to be able to accept and recognize that we all need support one way or another.
I like what you've said, that we are not as strong as people think that we
No, we are not.
are. Actually, sometimes I think we are like the weakest.
Yeah, it's in that you have to
Because
show
I think
that you're strong.
we have grown up, generally firstborns, whether female or male, we have grown up being taught how to toughen our skin, toughen ourselves up. Regardless of what it is that you go through, you just toughen up.
Yeah.
So all your life you've been living a life of, you can't share your problems, you can't talk about what you're going through because it makes you feel weak.
Yeah.
Again, you can't be also sharing that even in presence of your siblings because now they'll feel like they don't have anybody to depend on because you're showing that you're weak. So because you don't have anybody to open up to, or you don't have this support system, you have yourself alone.
Yes.
And I mean, there's only so little that you can do with yourself to help yourself.
That's true.
Unless you ask for help. I've really felt that.
And there's also the pressure of being an example.
Oh, let's talk about that.
The pressure of being an
Actually,
example.
I wanted to ask you that because a lot of the feedback that we received, or rather, what most people were relating with us when we were talking about firstborn daughter syndrome, was the expectation to be perfect because you're a role model and you're expected in school you have to pass. So if you're not passing, there's a problem with you.
Yes.
Make it worse, you're a PK.
Yeah.
You need to either be serving somewhere. So like, for example, and I think I've said this one too many times on this channel, is that I was made a Sunday school teacher when I was in class 4, class 5. I mean, what did I know? Surely.
You know the pastor.
Exactly.
The God of the pastor.
Is your
I
God.
didn't even know my God. I didn't know my God. I knew the God of my mom and my father.
Yeah.
I didn't know my God. That time God was a grandfather to me.
Yeah.
Because I just knew. So, but I'm looking at, like, because they know that you're a firstborn, you can, the other small kids are looking up to you. So go ahead, teach Sunday school. What if I just trash talk them or I tell them the wrong things?
I see. Quite
How has your
interesting.
experience been?
I've constantly been under the pressure of being an example to my sisters. And part of the problem with that is that for us, our understanding is it has to be a perfect life.
Yeah.
And by the way, the Christian life is not a perfect life.
Yeah.
It just needs to be authentic.
Exactly.
You can say that again.
It just needs to be sincere and transparent.
Yeah.
So many times you camouflage behind struggles and you portray this perfect image.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's not where the impact is.
That's true.
Over
Absolutely.
the last 2 years, I've lived closely with my sister. So she's come to services where I'm preaching, especially in youth church. And sometimes with youth church, I like to be open with my struggles.
Yeah.
So the first time she heard me say talk about my struggles with girls and wanting to go to clubs, she couldn't believe it.
Like, what?
And she came later and said, are you for real? Did that really happen?
Yeah.
And what that did is that it opened really our relationship.
Yeah.
And she started seeing, I think I can relate with this guy.
Yeah.
Kumbe umse haishingi heaven. And so, but they've lied to us. It has to be a perfect life. They
Yeah.
must see.
Of
We actually end up piling pressure
Yeah.
on these people.
Yeah.
You see, but sometimes authenticity means that you must be willing to talk about your fears.
Absolutely.
And sometimes when we sit around a table and I say, hey, this month the finances are not looking up.
Looking up.
The finances, the bills are not
financing.
billing. So, and I've realized the more we do that, the easier it is for me to connect with them.
Correct.
And they'll
Yeah.
easily come and tell me about a guy who's in their inbox.
Yeah.
See, because I've made them see. By the way, this is it's part of the growth.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, but again, also sometimes as we do that, we pile pressure, especially on the last one. Our last born sister was under stress akiwa shule because all of us set really high bars up there. We all made A's.
Keep up.
And when she didn't make that A, she was broken.
Yeah.
And it was a mess. A crisis. So the authenticity, being able to also have vulnerable conversations.
Yeah.
And just making it clear that all of us are going through very different trajectories in
Absolutely.
life.
Yeah.
And your life doesn't have to be mine.
mine, exactly.
And mine doesn't have to be yours.
Yeah.
And we're okay with that.
Yeah.
Quite deep. I mean, what more can we say after
I
that?
know. Hey, wisdom. My friends, please go
But
go
I
look for.
love what I've related with actually a lot of things that you've said.
Yeah.
Despite you being a firstborn guy.
Yeah. It cuts
Thank
across.
you so much.
Yeah, it cuts across.
absolutely.
Please look for Precious Cole on Instagram. He has very nice reels.
Yes,
and you'll be
snippets of
really
wisdom.
enlightened. Yeah.
True.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for coming on this episode. It was glad sharing and having this relatable and authentic conversation with you. We loved the stories. I'm still on that umbrella thing. I mean, sure,
I know.
it's an umbrella, guys. Toxic masculinity doesn't have to be that bad.
Yeah, for sure. Umbrella. At least for crying, we agree.
Umbrella.
I don't agree.
Kujipaka mafuta. Sisi unavaa alafu part zinabaki ndio unapaka mafuta.
Zile kula kuonekana unachana
nayo.
All right. Guys, you can do better.
Yeah, for sure.
Anyway, thank you so much for sticking with us on this episode. We hope you enjoyed.
Yeah.
And if you related to anything, please be sure to share your story, especially if you're a firstborn guy or generally a firstborn or anyone. If you know a firstborn as well who has maybe a similar experience, be sure to share with us in the comment section, and we'd love to interact with you. Till then, we see you on the next episode.
Bye.